The results-driven Merrimack Valley Chamber of Commerce invites you to connect your business with 1,000 other companies just like yours, including education and workforce development, healthcare, professional services, manufacturing, retail, nonprofit, trades and vocations, hospitality, among many others, and benefit with chamber programs and services such as government affairs, energy and economic development, small business assistance, networking opportunities, women in business programs, young people in business programs, and more. We invite your business to become a starring member of the Merrimack Valley Chamber today and see what a difference this chamber will make for you. Join your community's most trusted, effective, and relevant business network connection today. The Merrimack Valley Chamber of Commerce.
Hello everyone, my name is Mike Bevilacqua and I am the President and CEO of the Merrimack Valley Chamber of Commerce. I want to welcome you all to another edition of the Merrimack Valley Chamber Means Business program. Today I'm here with a special guest, Miguel Lopez, who is the owner and founder of Trusted HR Partners. So Miguel, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So HR, I know it's an important issue, something every business needs to face, something you don't want to get behind on. And you've been in the HR field for a long time now, so why don't you tell us who you are, a little bit of your background, and then we'll get into Trusted HR Partners.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. So I have been an HR leader in different roles across industries for the past 19 years, so almost 20 years now. Everything from the tech sector to privately owned companies to smaller businesses. And last year I decided, you know what, let me go out and help my knowledge help businesses with their HR needs.
Excellent. And as we mentioned, is it a very important thing to help, these businesses with HR needs, because today's HR world continuously changes and they need someone like you to keep them updated and keep them informed about what it is they need to be aware of. So Trusted HR Partners, tell everyone what it is.
Sure. So Trusted HR Partners was created with the mission in mind to help small business owners with HR support that's tailored to their needs. So in many cases, owners of small businesses do not understand the need for HR until it's too late, unfortunately, and they may be hit with compliance, different fines for non-compliance, for example, or if they terminate an employee and they go to litigation, it costs them hundreds of thousands of dollars. So my goal is really to work with business owners to help them understand how HR can better support their business and be proactive to prevent such instances.
Yeah, keep them ahead. Right. Don't let them fall behind. If there's new things that come out, they need to be aware of. You're the person who's gonna notify them of that. What type of business should contact you? Small businesses, large businesses, in between? Who do you work with?
Absolutely. So the businesses that I cater to are anywhere from 10 to 150 employees. Typically, companies with 150 plus employees have an HR person in-house, whereas Trusted HR Partners can come in and help these businesses on a fractional term. So I can be there as needed or a retainer base, or even work on small projects like an employee handbook or recruiting needs. I have clients who utilize me strictly for recruiting, and then they plan on growing their business, and I can go in and then work with them to create processes and really help them advance their company.
Excellent. And when you meet with a business, what's the first steps? You sit down with the owner or whoever's in charge to tell them about what the different things they should be aware of or how you should be working with them, and let them pick what style they would like to work with you on?
Absolutely, Mike. I'm glad you asked that. So initially, when I have a potential client, I will send out a survey and provide a free HR consultation based on those survey results. And the survey is very short. It's a quick 10-question survey, basically to help me understand what are your potential needs with HR. Are you having turnover? Are you having compliance issues? Are you looking to scale and not really sure how to go about that with your current workforce? So once we sit down and identify those needs, then we take it from there.
Excellent. And do you have an example of a company that you worked with that was a great experience to you and the company? Or
absolutely. So we have a client who when we started with them, they had high turnover, they had non-compliances unfortunately in place because they didn't really have the time to go and audit their files. For example, I-9s, which with the current legislation is an important thing. You want to make sure that you have your employees' identifications, showing that they are eligible to work in this country. So they had other compliance issues. We went in there, took a look at all the records, updated any records that needed updating, made more intentional recruitment efforts, really identifying what is the need that you have for your company in this role. First of all, why are you looking to fill this role? Do you have anyone internally that can fill this role without you having to spend money going out and recruiting for this role? Do you have a top performer, for example, you can put in a management position as opposed to going out and spending more money to hire a manager? and then potentially not meshing well with the culture of your company, for example, and other things that come with a new hire. So I'm still working with this client. It's been a great introduction with them, and they're really beginning to see, wow, this is really impactful for my company, where I'm actually saving money by sort of thinking outside of the box as opposed to just revenue generating. Let me see how I can strengthen and optimize my business that I currently have.
And I think that's an important thing you mentioned. I think a lot of people at home are thinking when they hear HR, just handbooks and rules you have to follow and things from the government you have to do. But it's also culture. It's workplace culture. What's going to make someone want to come to work the next day? What's going to want someone to sign with your company rather than go work for a competitor? And it's all about that culture. And what you mentioned, how do you continue to push up the workforce to these next levels within your own organization rather than reaching out? It's something people just aren't aware of, and I think that's a big part of HR. So it's really great that you look at the whole spectrum, the whole world of HR into Trusted HR Partners.
100%. And by that same notion, HR, human resources as it stands, is pretty much in its infancy, relatively speaking, as an industry. The term human resources really began in the 80s and 90s. Prior to that, it was known as personnel administration, where it was more administrative. And to your point, many business owners, by no fault of their own, still view HR as an administrative function and don't really understand that as a strategic partner, there are some intangibles that you may not even think of that can really be impactful for your company, not only to be more productive and to generate more revenue, but also, again, to be proactive and to not have losses. For example, any turnover for an employee can range between, on average, 30 to 50% of that employee's salary. So when you lose an employee as an employer, it's going to cost you between 30 and 50% just to backfill that employee.
Wow.
And you may think that's a high number. How do you get that figure?
Yeah.
And that's everything from the recruiting costs. If you have to hire an external recruiter, the time that's wasted from your managers interviewing, from you interviewing, having to take all of the responsibilities from the employee that you lost and add it to another employee, and now that employee isn't being as productive. So it all sort of falls into a loss for the company. So again, HR is really beyond the administrative traditional view, and that's what I enjoy, really educating small businesses on. Wow, I can add value there, but there's so much more value I can also add.
That's great. And from what I understand, you work personally with each of your clients as well, correct?
Absolutely.
So when they call you, they're going to be talking to you, they're going to be working each step through with you, and you're going to be able to stay on top of each and every step.
Absolutely, and that's what I really am proud of, having that white glove service for the employers. And by that same notion, many small businesses currently, if I call them and they'll say, I already have HR because I have it through my payroll provider, through ADP or Paychex, where that's great and fine, but those companies are payroll providers. They're not an HR person that you can have, to your point, call me whenever you want and let me help you walk through whatever issues you're having. Let me go on site and really sit down and understand it, as opposed to calling a call center and them not really solving your problem, and also not being proactive with their initiatives.
And that's where the word trusted and trusted HR partners comes from. Sure. So if tell everyone at home, if someone's interested in contacting you, learning more about trusted HR partners, learning more about the services you offer, how can they contact you?
Absolutely. So any businesses, if you have 10 to 150 employees, you can reach out to me. Please visit my website, trustedhrpartners.com. You can call me at 617-657-3347, or just email info@trustedhrpartners.com, and let me help you out and see how I can be a resource for you.
Now, as I mentioned, you work with a lot of businesses already. What has been your key takeaway from working with businesses? What's something that a lot of businesses don't see, and then what's a way you can help a lot of businesses you've seen so far?
Sure. So I think maybe redundant, but what I really enjoy is when the owners sort of have that light bulb moment and like, wow, I didn't know that I should be doing this. For example, performance management. I work with a client who's been in a business for 30 years, and they have great retention. So it means they're doing something great, right? Their culture is great, their employee engagement and retention is good, but they do not have a performance management process in place, which is very important for your employees to know where they stand, and then for career pathing. So just educating them on that, on how you can create a career path for a top performer, and really having them improve your organization and them be an example, when you're going out to recruit, say, hey, I have, Joe here who's been with the company for 10 years and now he's a manager, he worked his way up. That really helps you engage external recruits too. So really having seeing that aha moment from small businesses
and seeing them succeed.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's definitely gratifying. And continue to be that resource. After they succeed with this initiative, okay, let's see where else can we help you.
Yeah, because like you said, HR partners, you are a partner of these organizations.
Exactly.
When they succeed, you work together, which is great.
Absolutely.
What else should people be aware of?
Yep. So, I always recommend to any small business owner, even if you don't feel that it's time to have an HR consultant, just I recommend being up to date with different employment laws, and you can do that just by visiting your local government website, mass.gov in Massachusetts, or another HR site, SHRM, for example, shrm.com. So that can help you sort of get by. But again, if you want someone to be on top of that without being the burden of your busy day, that's where I come in.
And businesses can talk to you, see if hiring you is the right fit for you, which is all great to have you right there to be able to talk to. But I just want to ask you, as we sign off the program,
Mm-hmm.
I know you've worked in the HR field your whole life. You worked with some really big companies. What made you scale back and start your own business and go off on your own?
Yeah, so I've worked for different organizations, again, from small business to Fortune 100 companies, and where I thrive the most and what I enjoy the most is having that hands-on ability to work and really mold and architect stuff with companies to help them succeed. And I have the ability to do that with small businesses and, again, educate them and have that impact. So I think what was really lacking for me in the corporate world was having the ability to have that direct impact and partner with company owners, where I did that on a global scale with the leaders. But again, there's so many other moving parts in big corporations. It's not what I enjoy the most. I enjoy having that hands-on experience.
Yeah, and talking with you today, I can really see how much you enjoy working with these businesses. As you mentioned, seeing that aha moment and seeing them succeed, which is great. So, Miguel, I want to thank you again for being part of the show today. Appreciate it. And tell everyone home one last time the best way to contact you.
Absolutely. If you're a business with 10 to 150 employees, please check out trustedhrpartners.com or email info@trustedhrpartners.com. We're also on social medias, trusted_HR_partners, and Facebook and LinkedIn, everywhere. So thank you.
Excellent. Well, thank you again for being part of the show. And I want to thank all of you at home again for being part of another edition of the Merrimack Valley Chamber Means Business program. And we look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you.